So, hello, I'm Mary Lee LeBay. I'm an instructor of hypnotherapy and past life regression, and I get all sorts of great questions from people about past life regression. And some of them are from people who are skeptics, maybe don't know whether past lives exist or not, reincarnation, or they believe and they're talking to people who question it. And is it really true or is it not? So, what I invite people to do, first of all, is to not pass judgment on it until you know for sure, right? So, a lot of people say, I don't believe in past life regression, but they've never tried it, they've never studied it, they don't have any basis for that belief. It's really an unfounded belief. Now, I've believed in past lives since I was a little girl. I don't know why. I think I came in with it from a past life. I knew it was real, and I pursued it very strongly, very actively until I found somebody who could give me a past life regression. And that took about 15 years for me to find someone. And back in those days, it was just harder. It was back in the dark ages, the 50s and 60s, right? So it wasn't till the 80s that I actually had it done on me. So, so anyway, back to our topic. Does it exist or doesn't it? All right. So if you if you hold an open mind to it, you could have a practitioner help you to go into a past life. But even when you do the past life, oftentimes in the beginning, the first few times you do it, it will feel like you're making up a story. That's just the way it is because you don't have photographs and you don't have your baby book. You don't have parents telling you the stories of those events. So you're just kind of relying on your vivid imagination, and it's okay. Over time, it'll start to sort out, and you'll start to feel the difference between when you're actually in a past life and when you're making up a story. And the way it feels to me, and I don't know if this is true for everyone, but you can play with this a little bit. For me, when I'm making up a story, it's like my frontal lobe is activated. It feels like I'm talking from this part of my brain. Um, and you can actually test that. If you tell a lie, if you tell a fantasy story, maybe you're making up a bedtime story for a child, or you're actually telling a lie, that's coming from up here. Okay, so whether it's true or it's not, I mean, if it's fantasy or a lie, they're very similar, right? Um, it seems to be activated up here. This is my experience. Once it becomes a past life, so even if I start out by making up a story, but as I go, I relax into it even deeper, and some memories are coming up from a deeper place within me, and they're actually memories. I can feel the shift go backwards to where it feels like the information is now coming from the back of my head. So there's actually a shift in what is being activated in my brain. That might be my experience. I would invite you to play with it. However, let's go back to the topic of is it real or not? So, my father was dying. It was back in 2002. And so I visited him several times. And at one point, towards the end, we had a deeper conversation. And I told him, he was on the fence. I mean, he was kind of open. He says, gosh, I hope it's true. And I said, for me, because this is my business, this has been a lifelong study for me. This is part of who I am and what I know. For me, it's important that I share with you the knowledge that I have. I don't care if you believe me or not. You don't have to change your mind about anything, but let me share what I know. Because if it's true that there's life after death, then I will feel Like I've imparted that wisdom on you, and perhaps you will feel more aware of your surroundings. Maybe, that'll resonate with you, and you'll go, oh, okay, Mary Lee told me about this. So I said, please just let me satisfy my need to share this information with you. So he said, yeah, sure, okay. Um, so what I told him was, it really comes down, when it's truth, there's no gray area here, right? There is either reincarnation or there's not. There's nothing in between. It's not like, well, if people believe in it, then it's true, and if they don't believe in it, then it's false, or it could be true for some and not for others, or whatever. Um, I said it's black and white. It either exists or it doesn't. And so I said, if it doesn't, then none of this is going to matter. You are going to die, and it'll be nothing. It's not like you're going to be out there thinking there's nothing, aware that it's just all black and nothingness. I said, you're not going to be aware of anything, because if you don't exist after you die, there's no consciousness, there's no existence to be aware of, right? Nothing, right? So there's that. So on one side, if you die and it's nothing, then none of this is going to matter. Our conversation won't matter. There's nothing to carry from this life into any other life, and it's just over. And you won't even care that it's over. It won't matter, because you won't even be conscious that it ever existed. Because there's no consciousness, no existence. Done. On the other hand, if it does exist, if you believe in ghosts, if you believe in the Holy Spirit, if you believe that Jesus died and reincarnated, if you believe that Buddha died and is still out there, if you believe in guardian angels, if you believe in anything beyond the physical existence, then maybe there is something to it, right? And if there is something, the question is, how does a conscious mind activate this body, right? You have the physical flesh, you have the dividing cells inside the womb that is dividing and creating this this form. Well, what makes it alive? What is that spark that connects it, connects the consciousness to this physical flesh that could be a rock or a table, right? But now we've animated it, and it's alive, and it's thinking, right? So how does that happen? How does flesh, just pure materialism, come together with consciousness, which is not material at all? Our thoughts are not material. Our consciousness is not material. How do those combine and operate together? And the bigger question is, if we were able to do it once, what would stop us from doing it again? Why couldn't we incarnate again if we've done it once, right? Why couldn't we take our consciousness and attach it to yet another body if we've done it once? Which I think is a rather provocative question. And the other thing is, if you think you have a soul, right? So a lot of people talk about, I have a soul, or they think they have a higher consciousness or something like that. Then what happens to that? Is that just part of the body? Does your soul disappear when your body dies? So there are a lot of things to contemplate. And what I told my dad was, if you die and there's nothing, there's no reincarnation, then there's nothing to worry about, nothing to do, because you won't remember a thing. It won't, you'll just poof out and it'll be done. But if there is something, then why wouldn't that be one of the most important things that you study and you prepare for? Why would you not, um, like if you were a good Boy Scout, you'd be packing your bag, right? You'd want to know how to get ready for that. What's going to happen, and how can I navigate that most uh, effectively, right? So for me, this is a very important study. And because I've experienced many, many, many lifetimes, dozens of lifetimes of my own lives and death, many scenes, um, many different characters. I've been a man, I've been a woman, I've been Asian many times, I've been Native American, I've been Black, I've been, from Africa, I've been from Egypt, I've been from Israel, I've been, well, it wasn't Israel then, um, but I've been, I remember South America. I've got very strong connections to South America, Native Indian lifetimes down there. I have memories, strong, strong memories of the British Isles, and so many other places. And so um, it changes your life. It changes your life when you've been all these races, and you've spoken all these languages, and you've been a man and you've been a woman, and you've, all this variety, and you've had all these experiences. It it changes who you are. I just think it would be healthy for more people to do that, to remember these experiences. But the point here is that for me, I have no doubt. There's not a question in my mind. And on top of that, I've taken thousands of people into their memories. And the memories are so powerful and explain so much about them. And they start to have this self-awareness and the value of that experience and that wisdom, and by um, adding these lifetimes into your conscious awareness, it actually helps to bring more mass into your energetic field. It helps to solidify your soul field. So there's just a lot of benefit. So if you're not sure, please withhold your judgment about it until you've given it a real honest try to see whether it's true for you. And just because you don't get a past life during a regression, it might not be that it doesn't exist. It might be that either the practitioner isn't capable of taking you there, or there's some barriers for you to experience it. So you want to be with somebody with a lot of experience who can help you to move past any resistance or any hesitation, so that you can truly have this experience. So my contact information will be down below this film. And please reach out. If you want to work with me, that would be great. If you want to work with someone else, maybe I can help steer you in a good direction. But I'd really like you to have a great experience. So thank you for being with me today, and we'll see you later.